Hi, this is Elliot Fishman, and welcome to our latest talk. And this is going to be really, I think, what I would call a very exciting talk. It's the role of AI in the early detection of cancer, challenges, and opportunities. And in saying that, let's get started. AI is changing so quickly, it's almost impossible to give a talk and not have to add new slides the next day. And I've found that over and over again, particularly the last 6 months. I was giving a talk on AI in pathology to the cytopathology meeting, and 3 days before the talk, there were a number of articles and discussions from the president of the cytopathology organization. Things are rapidly changing, so I'd like to basically do what this article really says, to take a snapshot of where we are, kind of predict where we're going, knowing that by the time we record anything, it may be a bit blurred because things are changing so quickly. I'm recording this right before the inauguration of President Trump, and I'm sure you read in the paper that Mark Zuckerberg will be there, Elon Musk, the CEOs of Amazon, like Bezos, the CEO of Google, Jensen from NVIDIA is not going to be there. He's out in Far East. But all of these CEOs are going to be there. If you told people they were going to be there 6 or 8 months ago, people would have laughed at you. So things are definitely changing. I mentioned that I spoke about pathology, and I like to make the point that pathology and radiology faced similar challenges. And I spoke about that you have increasing volumes. Research and training are challenged by the clinical workload. It's create RVUs, whether you're a radiologist or pathologist. We all value patient care. That's why we went into medicine. But we want to do teaching. We want to do research. How do you do it all without going crazy? Now, both fields, interestingly, have gone through changes. Remember, AI would not have been possible if we were still looking at films. And 25 plus years ago, almost everybody switched over. Some took longer than others, from film to digital display, which makes AI possible. You remember film, all different sizes. You remember the chemicals, the film processors, everything where a company named Kodak was involved, and Kodak basically doesn't exist. Pathology for hundreds of years have used glass slides. The argument to go to digital pathology has always been a difficult one. Besides the investment and the cost involved, people would argue that, hey, you can't look at things as well as you can on glass slides. The same thing people would talk about, hey, you can't read things that are not on film. So both were held back in part by the attitude that these changes were not acceptable. I remember starting radiology. The only question about film was it an 8 by 10 or maybe 10 by 14, rarely, or 14 by 17? Pfizer, when it was in CT, AS&E, used 8 by 10. That's what we had at Hopkins. And GE always had 14 by 17. The 14 by 17 images from GE always looked better. And GE was number one in CT. And I always thought in great part it was because they had a better film processing technique. The images look better. But times change. We had film jackets. You lost the film jacket, you lost the patient's information. We had film processors. We had alternators going up and down. You had one set of films. And you had things like Kodak, and NVIDIA wasn't heard of, and Microsoft was around but not doing what they're doing. Google was not invented. Amazon was not invented. Boy, do times change. If I had to summarize the changes, I would say AI in medicine. The future of medicine is AI. The future of patient care is AI. The future of medicine is dependent on how we use AI for good and avoid some of the potential problems. There are always problems with everything we do, but I think we need to really, with AI, be very cognizant and be very careful. And the question really is no longer if, but when. You can argue about the impact reading CT scans or mammograms or plain x-rays, you name it, MRs. And for most of the apps, some are there now, others are coming quickly. And even for the ones that we're not certain about, it's not going to be a never, but it's only going to be a when. One of the things I took away from the end of the year, at the end of 2024, when the Nobel Prizes come out, remember the Nobel Prizes are given for excellent work for discovery. If you look back, it's usually someone who's spent 30 or 40 years working on something, or the idea is 30 or 40 years old and people have built on it. But when you look at the Nobel Prizes this year in chemistry and physics, the physics prize was in part won by Geoffrey Hinton, who many think of as the godfather of AI. He's done his work in the last 10 or 15 years and was at Google. Now, Geoffrey Hinton, as for radiologists, you can go online and listen to him say to stop producing radiologists because they're going to be out of business in 5 years. That was about 10 years ago, but he was brilliant, won the Nobel Prize, and Hopfeld did work that was very much dependent on Hinton's work. And in chemistry, Hassabis and Jumper both worked for DeepMind, which is part of Google in England. And their work with David Baker, who's worked very closely with Microsoft. Again, people who've used AI to really change physics and chemistry. And this work was done in the last decade. So one of the biggest changes, even for the Nobel Prize Committee, which is very much old school, and I mean that with all the respect, but even they realize, and they've made a point, that AI has won chemistry and physics, and the future is AI. Even the journals, two of the most important journals, New England Journal of Medicine and JAMA, they didn't go along and just publish AI articles, but both of them started journals. New England Journal of Medicine, NEGM-AI, and JAMA plus AI. So both of them basically realized that AI is so big, it needs its own journal. New England Journal of Medicine also would not allow corporate people, if you work for Microsoft, Google, name the company, to be one of the co-authors. They changed the rule with New England Journal of Medicine AI. So everything is pointing and everyone is recognizing what is going on. A good article by Lena Mosh making the point, specialized tasks currently performed by physicians in all areas of medicine will likely be taken over by AI, including clinical decision support, research, bureaucratic tasks. However, the concern that physicians will be replaced by AI is unfounded, and I agree 100%. Will AI replace doctors? No, but it's going to change how we practice. I will say, however, physicians, radiologists, pathologists, any physician who refuses to use AI or refuses to adapt to the new environment, they are going to be eliminated. Mosh goes on to say, the opportunities AI brings must be seized and managed by professionals trained in both AI and medicine. So you need both of them. Now, it's not always going to be or often going to be that you have an incredible, really smart person who knows AI and is an incredible physician. But it's really the combined talents. Working with, for example, we work with Microsoft. We work with NVIDIA. Working with the world's best computer people and working at Hopkins with some of the best physicians, combining the two together is what is going to work best for everybody. In this article by Klassen, making the point that one of the things about AI, and we need to be careful, is that as we fall in love with AI, we need to make certain that we're really good about looking at how well it works and not to make assumptions. For example, there were articles written about using AI for detecting sepsis, and it was very accurate, like 85%. Really good articles, really strong results, and would be really helpful. But then another company came along, Epic, who basically made their own algorithms, and they really never tested them. And guess what? They used them. So they made it available to people, But again, the point, AI is not just AI, an algorithm is not just an algorithm. Well, guess what happened? The accuracy was only 7%. You would have been far better flipping a coin. So one of the things to realize is that when you use AI, it needs to be tested. It needs to, everything we do, whether it's a scanner, whether it's contrast, whatever we do in medicine is always tested. AI needs to be tested, or you can have products that are no good. Now, moving over to radiology, Kurt Langlotz, who was the RSNA president this past year, made the point that one of our challenges, we make errors, but there's not much we can do about it because we're looking for small things, this idea of needle in a haystack. Also, we have so much information. We have multimodal data, radiology, genomics, pathology. Putting them all together is beyond human capabilities, but AI algorithms can readily perform these tasks. And so AI needs to be there to complement human perception. And he's very right. We talk about error rate in radiology, 3 to 4%. But this article made the point when there's pathology present, it's more in the 30% range. We need to do better than that. When you look at pathology, error rates go up to 10%. Again, the same thing. You're trying to figure out, is this benign or malignant? If it's a tumor, what kind of tumor? You got lots of things you can look at, but you can't look at every cell. The specimens often are challenging. So radiology and pathology face the same problem. We're not perfect, but the patient needs perfection. And that's where AI is going to come in. And again, this comment by McGinty, the NPJ Digital Medicine, which literally came out days before I was giving my talk. Pathology AI is of broad importance in areas across medicine, with implications not only in diagnostics, but in cancer research, clinical trials, and AI-enabled therapeutic targeting. Again, making the point, the opportunities become very, very important. Even simple things, remote and flexible working, second opinions, collaboration, training, AI can affect positively every one of those things. In this article also, within the field of pathology, the use of AI has been confined to non-generative settings, and much attention has rightfully been paid to whole slide imaging. But again, things are changing, and now we need to push AI throughout the specialty. And you could see pathology needs to change much in the same way that AI has advanced through the specialty of radiology. So again, we need to really understand what we're doing. This article by Rajapur makes the point. Rather than fearing replacement, healthcare professionals should embrace AI as a tool, a very powerful tool focusing on problem definition and the nuanced aspects of patient care that machines cannot replicate. Okay? The future lies in the seamless human-AI collaboration. Again, for things to be successful, we need to be working together. Now, I'll show you, I mentioned the fact that I was giving this talk to the cytopathologists. This was their website. Literally a few days before my talk, and you can see from the president's desk talking about disruptive pathologies, that pathologists are afraid they're going to be put out of business. Okay? But at the end of the day, what he says is, we will have to know how to assess this technology, select the best ones for our practice, and implement them. Again, the point is, we can have fear, we can have caution, but we need to move forward. We need to be careful as we move forward, but moving forward is our only choice. And again, here was one of his quotes. What AI is and how exactly it might prove useful in pathology is still not clear to many of us. It feels new and mysterious, triggering a lot of anxiety about what it means for our patients, our practices, our profession. I've heard a lot of fear that AI may eventually even replace us. This is the president of the Pathology Society. This sounds exactly, change the word pathology to radiology, and you've heard the same words within radiology. So again, we need to take control of this. Big data is everything. We need to understand where we are and where we're going and how we can do best in this new world. And again, the article by Warish and Jama made the point that it's interesting. The first FDA approval of a device for pathology really was in 1995. So it's been a long time. FDA has approved over 1,000 AI-enabled medical devices, not that many in pathology. Radiology is number one, over 700, then cardiology. But pathology is coming fast and furious. So that's kind of a background, really telling you that, hey, AI is there. If you're afraid of it, if you're uncertain, you're not alone. It's not just radiologists who are concerned, it's pathologists, and every single field in medicine still is wondering how they're going to change, and will the change be for the better. So let's go and look what we're doing. AI in the earlier detection of cancer. A lot of work done on many things: breast cancer, lung cancer, colon cancer, pancreas cancer are four of the more common. I'm going to focus on pancreatic cancer, obviously, but in breast cancer, multiple articles now show that it's a 30 to 40% increase in accuracy when you use AI. Lung cancer, work has been shown that you can stage more accurately, predict response using AI. AI is used in colonoscopy to help the colonoscopist find polyps and now evaluate the polyps in real time, predicting what's malignant or what's benign. And then, of course, the work in pancreatic cancer, which I'm going to share with you. So, if you think about it, Hounsfield was 1971, the first scan. So we've been around 50 plus years. The fact that things are changing from that scanner to the latest scanners we have, which might be, these photon counting scanners or any of the really good scanners that are out there, life has really changed. And in the old days, we would pick up a mass that was 3 or 4 centimeters and we were happy. Now we're looking for masses that are 0.5 millimeters, okay, or centimeters. We're looking at smaller tumors and we have the opportunity for better detection, but we're still not where we need to be. If you look at pancreatic cancer, 40% of cancers under 2 centimeters are missed on CT. Now, the smaller a cancer is, it's not always true, but the smaller a mass is, the more likely it can be resected. It's typically of lower grade. Most 2-centimeter tumors are in the 1 to grade 2 range and can have really good outcome in the 5-year survival of 60 to 70%, not survival of 13 or 12%. So these are the lesions we need to see. And the question is, can AI help us? And with that, let me stop there, and then we'll come back with this slide and start again and really dig into where we're going with AI in pancreatic cancer. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to the CTisus YouTube channel. You can also visit us at ctisus.com for even more videos, plus quizzes, pearls, protocols, and oh so much more. We're also in the App Store and have well over a dozen apps for iPhone and iPad, all completely free. Thanks for watching.